I think there's a delay too, so.
Okay.
Good afternoon, friends and folks. Thank you for joining us today on our series of Let's Talk Careers. Just to let you know that this series is a combination of interviews that we're going to be having with folks in different careers. And the purpose of it is to help you if you're thinking of changing careers or entering a new career to learn more about these different occupations. So with that, I'm going to introduce to you Kelly Tanner. Hi, Kelly. Thank you for joining us today. And can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Sure. So thank you for having me. I am an occupational therapist. So I went to school at Western over 10 years ago. So I can't consider myself a new grad anymore, even though I feel like it sometimes. So as an occupational therapist, I have a master's degree, and I've been lucky in my career that I've been able to kind of channel my positions all in mental health, which I learned in school was my passion.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned this by not liking any of my placements. I had a lot of experiences in school that I second guessed my choices going into OT.
Mm-hmm.
But when I found my final placement, and thank goodness for placements in school, it was in I guess you'd say, a chronic mental health unit for clients with schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm.
And I was all in, fascinated. And I was so grateful to find an area that I had a passion for. And I would say that's one of the really amazing parts of being an OT is the flexibility in what I can do. And the position I hold now is pretty exciting. I've taken a leave of absence from my position at St. Joe's in an outpatient mental health program. And I've been able to take 1 year to work in 2 different employment programs in downtown Hamilton. So I work part-time in both and split my days between 2. So one's with the YWCA and the other's with Center 3. And so my position here is to support young people whose barriers to employment or even attending the workshops could be mental health, but it could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who's struggling with any area of functioning, physical, mental, environmental, whatever barriers they may be, to following through on the program here. And it's been incredible. It's just to be in the community and working so closely with employment coordinators and job coaches is just, it's so cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what would you say an occupational therapist is? Like, tell me, like, if somebody doesn't know what that is, exactly what does that mean?
So they tell you in school to have like your elevator spiel ready to explain what OT is. And you might hear some background noise. I apologize for that.
Okay.
And OT is someone who can assess a client's barriers, whether it be a disability or an injury or an event that is causing them difficulty with functioning in an area of their life. So if we think about physical medicine, it could be a senior citizen who's had a stroke and lost function of their right arm.
Mm-hmm.
A physiotherapist would go in and help them strengthen the muscles that they need.
Okay.
An occupational therapist would work with that person to make sure they can get dressed, they can open their front door, they can make a sandwich, or they could look at the environment and see what needs to be changed to work with the client to function. So they might need a different kind of knife, or they might need to reorganize their bathroom. So an OT tries to look at all parts of the person and every environment that person works within and fix the mismatches, if you will. So we're all about just functioning.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
What made you decide to start a career in occupational therapy? What was it?
I didn't get into physio.
Okay.
I didn't know what an OT was until I didn't get into physio.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, so I went through high school thinking I was going to be a physiotherapist. So I
Mhm.
went to school for kinesiology. And then when I didn't get into physio, my friend's sister started to talk about OT and all the different things they can do. And that's kind of how I found my way into OT. And I'm so grateful I didn't get into physio because clearly that would not have been the right fit for the way my
Yeah,
brain works.
that's interesting, eh? That you start in one direction and
Yeah.
your educational path sometimes takes you somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite amazing.
Mm-hmm.
What is the thing you like most about your job?
Um, I would say building partnerships with community resources,
Hmm.
and especially in mental health and employment.
Hmm.
There are so many sectors in Hamilton where programs are trying to do a really good job, but
Yep.
there's a lot of disconnects as well.
Yes. Yep.
So, a part of my job I really enjoy is finding out what resources are out there because
Hmm.
that helps me connect my clients,
Hmm.
and then building partnerships
Yep.
because my clients often struggle with making those connections themselves.
Yes.
So, if I can find out their employment counselor's name down at Path and we have a conversation all together, I can
Hmm.
support the client in connecting and following through with that resource,
Hmm.
instead of things just kind of falling through the gaps. So I
Yep.
would say that's one of my favorite roles is advocating and being really assertive in my ability to support the client.
That's awesome. And it's very important for the success of, a human being. All of these connections, sometimes they don't have the means or the know-how how to go about doing it. So it's very important. What would you say is what something you don't like about the job or you don't like about?
Well, that's easy. It's documentation and paperwork.
That's probably an answer many would give.
Mm. Oh, it's the bane of my existence, and I'm terrible for doing all the fun stuff during my work week and meeting my people and having
Yeah,
my meetings,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then
Oh no,
I get
paperwork.
I get to the end of the week and I'm like, I haven't done any meeting. I am. So the other part of being an OT is it's a regulated healthcare profession. So I have a college,
Yeah.
and the uh, College of Occupational Therapists of Ontario,
Mhm.
CODO, they're there to protect the public. And in order to be an OT, I have to be a member and I have to demonstrate that I am documenting on time and that I am practicing in a safe way. I'm getting consent, I'm following all
Mhm.
the rules to make sure. So that's the other part of the
Yeah.
job that is just a reality of being able to call myself an OT. I couldn't do
Yes.
it if I didn't belong to the college.
Yes.
Um, but that's definitely not my favorite part.
Okay. Makes sense. Makes
Yeah.
sense. How has COVID affected your work? Has it been more of a struggle? Is there?
Pros and cons for sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people are saying that. So I'm okay with technology, but there's still been a learning curve,
Mm-hmm.
to get familiar with the different applications that we're communicating through. And it's provided a lot of flexibility in my workday.
Mm-hmm.
So I can work from home. I'm able to come into the office now with under certain parameters.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I just have to have my laptop with me and my phone. So that's pretty cool. Um, what I found, some clients really like it. So the
Mm-hmm.
clients I work with, because of their illness or disability, they like being home.
Yeah.
So they're more willing to connect if they can do it by video.
Yeah.
Whereas coming out into the community might have been a barrier because of their anxiety or their
Yeah.
difficulties.
Yes.
However,
Yeah.
I do find that it feels at times more superficial to connect with someone
Mm.
by video than have the in-person connection.
Yeah. Yeah, you lose the like even if we're looking at each other, you lose all of the context of the conversation, the
Yes.
eye contact. Yeah, there's a lot that's missing in that, unfortunately. So yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. And tell me a little bit. I know because you're partnered with us at Path, with Center 3 and Path. You're part of the Youth 360 program. Can you tell us a little bit more of that and how you got into that and how that looks?
So the 360 for Youth program has various partners in the community. One is PATH. So we have job developer Nicole works with us part-time, and another partner is St. Joe's. So when this program wanted to bring in a mental health OT a few years ago, they came to St. Joe's and got support around the administrative part of hiring someone. And then I agreed to mentor or support the OT who would be in this position at 360 for Youth. So that's how it started. And the way the funding works is they get it in like 6 months to 1 year blocks. So we've had a couple rounds of these contracts or funding come through. So I've helped mentor 2 other OTs in the position. And then when Center 3 got funding for a 3-year program and still wanted an OT, I was able, just where I'm at with life, to say, yes, I'd like to give this a try. So they let me do it. So I'm no longer the mentor. I am the OT in the spot. So
that's awesome.
It's so cool. So I've gone from the hospital sector with working with all health professionals to being the only healthcare professional on a team of amazing employment counselors and job developers. And I've never seen success like this before. I know it's early days with our clients and their job placements, but in the hospital, we don't have job developers. We don't have job coaches. They look to the OT for that, or there's a few vocational counselors, but everyone is just spread so thin. So it's pretty cool. I feel more like an outreach OT. So I'm able to support our clients, but if they need extra help, I can also refer them back up to St. Joe's or whatever mental health supports they need. So the outreach and the assertiveness of it all is just a lovely surprise to me down here.
Yeah, it's a great partnership, and it's amazing because you're molding these youth. I mean, it's quite incredible.
It's so rewarding so fast.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Is there any other advice or tips that you could give if there was someone thinking about getting into your type of career?
I would say do it. I think OT is pretty special. I think there's a lot of areas for nursing as well. But I would be hard pressed to think of another master's level career with a pretty good, reliable income that provides as much flexibility. With that said, I know people just graduating from the program are having a harder time finding employment. Public healthcare funding is challenging. And I think a lot of young new graduates end up working privately or going a ways before they find permanent full-time. And I don't even know if that's the norm anymore. I think a lot of OT new grads are going to end up having part-time jobs, casual jobs, side hustles, like
more
getting
partnership type of work. Maybe that's the way to go, make everybody happy and to fill in all those gaps.
It's not going to be jumping right into a full-time permanent union job. I think I got pretty lucky graduating in 2008, but I think soon after that, things have really changed as far as the types of opportunities are out there. So it's shifting. And if you can get in and you want to try healthcare with a lot of flexibility, OT is just, it's pretty amazing. I keep saying the word flexibility. There's no other way to really describe,
sounds like an amazing opportunity. How many years did you go to school? Like, what was the education part of it?
Yep. So I have a 4-year undergrad, which was required to apply to the master's level. So 6 years post-secondary altogether.
Okay. That's not too bad. That's not too bad.
All things considered,
yeah. That's awesome. Is there anything else you wanted to add? Anything else that I might have missed asking you that you want to share?
I don't think so. I think it's pretty clear. You can probably see in how I've described my job, how much fun it can be. And it takes time. So I guess anyone just graduating needs to know that I slugged it out with contracts and gaps between contracts and maternity leaves and moving. And it took, I'm in my 10th or 11th, 12th maybe year of practice. And I'm lucky to say I found a pretty amazing job, but it did take time.
Yep. Some patience and hard work and dedication
and
then
mentorship
success. Yeah.
and connections.
Yeah.
And I've stayed in touch with the OTs who have taken me on as a student way back when.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you get a job, talk to everyone, be nice to admin staff. They will save your butt. Be nice to everybody.
Yeah.
Because you never know when your next opportunity is going to come up, or a training opportunity could come up. So, and I guess the only other thing I would add, if we have time, is that a lot of what I learned in school, I didn't love it.
Okay.
But I knew I had to just get through school in order to get my degree, so that I can do what I'm doing now. And I think they say they graduate OTs as generalists. So you're given theory and frameworks and all these things. But just because you didn't love school or your placements doesn't mean you're not going to love your job one day.
So the skills, you didn't quite learn them completely in school. Those came afterwards. Okay, that's good to know.
Very much so. I would say, and no, like nothing against school. I think that's just the process of going through a master's degree is learning the theory and the framework. But I've learned 99% of my skills on the job or pursuing extra courses afterwards.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Okay, well, thank you, Kelly, for being part of our series. It was really nice getting to know you and your occupation, and I wish you well.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Take care, Kelly. Bye
Bye-bye.
now.